Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to Monday Live discussion with myself, Julie Nguyen, and Michael Williams from Canada. Hello, Michael. Good to see you. I'm so looking forward to Monday. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing great, Julie. Good to see you. It's wonderful Monday.
It is. It is.
Mhm.
So good to be able to sit together and talking about things that we love, right, everyone? Um, So today, the topic for today's session is about total freedom. And I believe every single one of us, one way or the other, all the time, we're looking for a way to help us to achieve that freedom, whether or not it is a financial freedom, mentally free, spiritually free, or wellness as well. So many of us, but we're really looking at what is a total freedom. Um, I believe total freedom is the ability for us as an individual to live according to what we want, right? Our choices, our desires, our values. And total freedom, it comes in terms of completely free externally and internal as well. And, many of us, experience the external constraints or because of things that is limitation that we put in front of us. So to me, Michael, is totally free, completely free. So let me let you on to a secret of mine, right? Since the year 2000, every single Christmas, every time my husband at the time or anyone in my life asked me, "What do I want? What's my wish for Christmas?" And I have always said, every single year, I don't want anything except financially freedom, right? And and I didn't think anything about total freedom at all, but at that time and every single year, I've always wanted to have that financial freedom. But then as I grew older and get a little bit wiser
Mhm.
and understand financial freedom doesn't help fixing everything. It doesn't give me that total freedom. So as I know today, I do want totally, that total freedom. And that's why this topic, it's something that I believe that many of us want to have that. So today we're going to talk about it, unless you have any secrets you want to share with us, Michael.
Well, there's a reason they're called secrets, Julie.
True, but sometimes you can share a little bit of a secret that, it's time to share.
I
All
understand.
joking aside.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think everyone wants to be free, right? To be free. Even if we take out the financial part of it, people just want to be free, you know? Obviously, we have to live within, the rules and regulation of society, etc. But putting that aside, people want to be free. People want to be able to live life on their own terms, right? As long as you're not infringing on anyone else, you're not harming anyone. People want to live life on their own terms. People want to be able to, wake up when they want to wake up. People want to, go to bed when you want to go to bed. Travel when you want to travel. Eat wherever you want to eat. You know what I mean? Like people just want to be free without, being restricted, right? And the biggest restrictions that people have in life is money, right? It is finances, right? Finances restrict you. In some cases, the school you want to attend to. Well, I want to go to Harvard, Harvard University. Okay, but you may not be able to afford to, to be able to go there. I want to go to MIT. Well, maybe you can't afford to go there, and so on, right? Maybe you want to go to a send your children to a private school, right? You can't afford to send them to a private school, a Montessori school, etc. right? Money usually the thing that restrict us. Retirement, people don't have enough money to retire, right? So they continue to work and work and work, or try to find alternatives to help supplement, their retirement, right? And so the list goes on and on and on. People want to buy a home, they don't have enough money to go buy a home, right? So money tends to limit us. Even the food we eat, right? You go into the store and sometimes you have to buy, cheap food because you can't afford the good stuff, which is usually more expensive, right? And so on. So, for me, we've always tried to find a way where money is no longer an issue, Julie, right? That's first and foremost, to move towards freedom. So you got the financial freedom aspect of it, right? But then there's the time freedom, because so many people, well, not so many, let me take that back. A lot of people, right, do find themselves whereby money is no longer an issue, okay? And yet they're not free. They're still restricted, because if you're making $1 million a year, as an example, but you're spending all your time, to make that money, are you really free? Right? Maybe you have a high paying job and you're making, 350,000 a year, but you're probably working 60, 70 hours a week, in order to generate that. So are you really free? Right? Can what? I don't feel like going to work today. I'm going to go golfing. Like, can you do that? You understand? So you have folks who do have the money, the financial part is taken care of, but then the time freedom, so that's why when we talk about total freedom, Julie, we always have to bring the two together, not just from not just finances, but we also talk about our time. My time is important to me, right? And I would hope that your time, speaking to everyone out there, that your time is also important to you. So I'm mindful of what I do with my time, because it's important, right? Spending time with my family is important. So I don't want to be working, working, working all the time, and I never get to see my family, right? I'm busy all the time. You know what I mean? Like, that's not being free, right? So I believe that people, ideally would like to be in a situation whereby they have both things covered, Julie, right? Because with that comes the health benefits and so on as well. Because if you're stressed out all the time, whether you're stressed because of work or you're stressed because you're thinking about the bills, you know what I mean? That impacts in a negative way on your health, right? So, when you have that total freedom that we're talking about, there's other perks that come with that. And that's very, very important to myself and my family, Julie.
Absolutely. And I believe not only, to us here in Unpassive, but to many people around the world, there are certain things that they desire to do every single day to achieve what they want. For me, also, total freedom, I believe, Michael, has to come from your, I guess, your emotional or your mental. It's come from you first. It come from I guess, from yourself, the way you think, how you feel about things. How are you going to confront and manage, like, your fears, your anxiety, and then doubt about yourself? Sometime that just keeping us away from being totally free, from ourselves. Are we accepting who we are? Are we accepting our true self or not? Or are we try to be somebody else? And I think that's part of it, is another way of working ourselves toward that total free. Because all the things that you are listing, if we continue to every single day have that anxiety, have that worries, and have that fear that's stopping us from achieving what's most important to you. And so I think that is another point that I thought we have to start with ourselves, being free
Absolutely.
mentally and
Yeah.
emotionally.
Yeah, absolutely. Mindset is very, very important, Julie. The way we think, is very, very important to our day to day life. It's important to our health, right? It's important to our freedom, right? And so, absolutely, people have to start to think in a positive way, start to see a better outlook in life, start to have hope, be able to dream, be able to see a brighter future, right? And that all comes from the mind. It starts there, right? How do you see yourself, a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, right? What's your outlook on life, right? Do you see things, going upwards, or do you see things going downwards? You know what I mean? How do you interact with people around you, right? Are you constantly bombarded with negativity, right? Do you surround yourself with negativity? You know what I mean? Do you listen to people who tell you that, oh, you're never going to accomplish anything, you're never going to win, you're never going to succeed, right? Do you listen to those people? Do you listen to the noise? Because there's lots of noise out there, Julie, but we have a choice whether we listen to it or not, right? I refuse to listen to people who don't see things the way I see it in a positive way, right? Now, we don't have to agree on everything, absolutely not. But we certainly should be able to agree when it comes to what our future is about. What's the projection for us where Onpassive is concerned? What do we see in the future for us via the vehicle of Onpassive, right? We have to agree on that, Julie, because if we can't agree on that, then we got issues, right? We got problems, right? Because my outlook is so bright where that is concerned, right? I just see a very positive environment for all the individuals them who've jumped in on board the Onpassive ship, right? So if we can't agree on that, then yeah, we're gonna have issues. So, but absolutely, we have to start thinking and speaking positivity within our lives, right? It's amazing how sometimes my wife is thinking something and I'm thinking something, and then I may say something and she's like, "Oh yeah, I was just thinking that." You know what I mean? Or vice versa, right? So again, being on the same wavelength, right? Having the same mindset, having the same outlook in life, what we want for ourselves, our family, our children, you know what I mean, or neighbors, or community, right? All these things, really, it's important, right? And so if you can control those thoughts that come in, right? The good book says we ought to guard our mind, right? You just can't let anything go inside there, folks. You know what I mean? That includes even stuff that you watch on TV or movies or YouTube or whatever, right? The comments that you read on social media, all these things, you have to guard this guy up here. You have to guard your mind, right? Because you are, however you think, that's who you are, right? And so you have to be mindful of that. And so that's all part of being, the whole idea of total freedom, right? You want to have that clear mind. You want to have that positive mind. You want to have that strong mind, right? And that allows you to achieve great things, right? If you want to achieve greatness in life, you can't be a soft person that, as soon as the wind blows something negative your way, like you're down. You know what I mean? Like, some people, Julie, just a small little thing comes and they're sick. You know what I mean? Right? As opposed to someone who has a strong immune system, right? Very few things will impact you in a negative way. So it's the same thing with our mind. It's the same thing with thoughts, words. Words are so important, right? And so, I choose not to let others speak negativity into me, right? Because it's a choice. I don't have to listen. If you're being negative, I don't have to listen to you, right? You may think you're right, and that's okay. You go be right somewhere else, right? You don't need to be imparting that on me. So mindset is very, very important, and I think we've mentioned this so many times. For people to really think, like take some time out, sit down, and really think. Write your goals down. You know what I mean? Go back to dreaming again, because your dream is still going to become a reality and Onpassive. So why throw that out? You know what I mean? Keep it in front of you, right? Let that help to motivate you moving forward, right? Because total freedom is a reality for all of us, Julie, right? We may all have different ideas of what that is, and we may quantify it differently, right? But at the end of the day, regardless of what that is and what it looks like, right, we're all going to achieve it, right? So total freedom, this is a fantastic topic, Julie.
Yes, I actually love it. But you know what, Michael? When you were talking about how you and your wife were synchronized with each other in terms of your thinking, because you're working together, you're in that same wavelength all the time. But imagine, there are people out there that allow the societal expectations, the pressure in the society, that really dictate them to say, I want to be like somebody else. I want to live that level. I want to behave this way. And you kind of veer yourself away from your main goal of being total free, right? So then, what do? They start looking at the shiny objects. They start looking at a different way than that true goal and true visions that has been put out. Look at Onpassive. If you really understand how Onpassive is, where it's going, and all of that, you would stay focused on that. You don't let anything else pressure you away from the journey that you've been part of in the past 6 years or 5 years or whatever it is. That level of, I guess, setting yourself free. It's so important. You're not letting anyone else or anything else beside you pressuring you into the things that you do not want to do. So I believe, being focused, um, breaking yourself from that pressure of the society is also important, Michael.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't want anyone to steal your joy,
Exactly.
Julie. You know what I mean? Like, if here I am and I'm believing and trusting that on passive is going to do all that I wanted to do for myself or my family, and then someone comes along and says, "Hey, yeah, 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 but here's this thing right here. You're going to make $1 gazillion over here. Come jump into this." And what I mean, most of the times there's no substance. I mean, I'm seeing so many things lately, Julie, and just no substance. You know what I mean? Um, if you want nonsense, just stick with your job, right? Just stick with that. You'll save yourself a ton of money, and you save yourself some heartaches and stress and pain and all of that. Just stick with your job, and if you need money, go get another job. You know, because it's just a smart thing to do, right? Not saying that there's no good businesses. Of course, there's great businesses out there, Julie, right? But people have to understand that with a great business, you have to be able to sell, right? A great business has products, right? Whether it's digital, whether it's physical, right? It has products, and you have to be able to sell it. And if you can't sell it, you're not going to make no money. Like, it's as simple as that, right? On passive says, yeah, okay, we have products, and we continue to work on them, develop them, improve them, etc. Okay, and the goal is to sell it to the marketplace. Let's sell these products to to the public. And when we do that, guess what? We make money. Simple concept. That's not anything new. You understand me? That's how businesses works. Okay, Apple, they got some iPhones, and what are they going to do? They're going to sell the iPhones. And when they sell the iPhones, guess what? They make money. Simple stuff, right? And the same can be said about all these other companies, your supermarket, your bookstore, shoe store, whatever, car dealership, right? They have products, they sell the products, they make money. Simple. Okay, on passive is no different. You have products, you sell the products, you make money, right? The difference, Julie, is that the company is saying, okay, we understand that there is a skill and an art, even a science to selling, right? It's not as simple as people may think it is, right? And so, in order to do that, you have to have a sales process. So no problem. We'll take care of the sales process for you, right? We have you covered, right? And that's why people will be able to achieve total freedom within On Passive, because it's not dependent upon their technical skills. It's not dependent upon their education level, and all these other things that we've talked about so many times, right? So that's the difference. But it's very, very important that you don't let people steal your joy, right? You don't let people come in and sabotage what you've been thinking about, dreaming about all these years, and you have the reality in front of you, and then you decide to kind of, go off to the side. You get derailed. You get off track, right? People can do whatever they want to do. People have to pay their bills, etc. But we all know, Julie, we all know how difficult it is to actually go out there and sell any product. You could have the best product in the world, and yet you have folks who can't sell it. You know what I mean? Right? Like, people need water, right? We all need water. Yeah, you can make a business out of selling bottled water, and you'll have some folks that still can't sell it, even though it's something that we need, right? People need homes, don't they? But do all real estate agents make money? No, they don't. You understand me? Some do. Some make great income, right? But not all of them are not making money. You understand? Right? So we all know that there's an art, there's a science, all of that when it comes to selling. But the bottom line, though, folks, is that you just don't want people to steal your joy. Keep your eye on the prize because you know when it comes to Onpassive, your dreams are going to become a reality. So why would I, kind of get derailed from that? Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Absolutely, Michael. Talking about Unpassive and all of what you reference is really taking me back to Catmo, right? We've talked about Catmo all the time, and Catmo to me it's a core, you know, of informations of my understanding about Unpassive. And are we talking about Catmo? Is it going to happen when happen? Catmo doesn't stop at it doesn't stop at certain point. Catmo continue going. So event you just hear this, Catmo is a complete digital solution. You can't provide a complete digital solutions at one time. You put it out there to the world and it's not, it's a continued process, right? So to me, in order for you to have that freedom that we all want, we have to have a complete solutions, and that complete solutions is in on passive, right? And on passive continue to build that complete digital solution, right? You're talking about sale. You know, on passive has letter A, it's automation. Automations mean they can do the selling, they can do the recruiting, they can do all of that automatically, bringing in the targeted traffic, which is the T, right? So if to me, if anyone's that need to understand on passive, you really need to understand what Catmo is all about. And to me, total freedom isn't just uh, a month or within a month, within a year. It's a continuous process. And that is for us, if we are focusing on that pursuit of happiness or pursuit of total freedom, we are going to feel that total freedom every single time that we are keep working on our business or our dreams or whatever that you have in our mind uh, in front of us. So to me, Catmo is total freedom. And it's not just a one time or 1 year or 2 year, it's a whole process, Michael.
Yeah, it's for life, Julie.
Yeah.
Right? It's for life. That is what we're looking for, right? We want total freedom for life, not total freedom for 5 years or 10 years, and then got to go back to the drawing board now. Got to go join another business now. Got to go do this all over again. Etc. No, right? You want to be able to accomplish it and maintain it. So we're talking about longevity, right? That's what we want, longevity, right? Can you imagine, Julie, you find yourself in a position whereby, oh, I'm totally free right now. Money is no longer an issue, and my time is mine, and all of that. And then something happens, 5 years later, right? And then, I got to go back out into the workforce. I'm no longer retired anymore. I have to come out of retirement. That's not a nice feeling, right? I don't think that's what people are looking for. And you have some folks, even now, Julie, who were retired and now they have to go back and go work. You know what I mean? Because whether they ran out of money or whatever the case is, but they have to go back into the workforce. That wasn't the plan, right? And you have some folks who are planning for retirement, and when they look at their nest egg, they realize it isn't big enough, so they have to continue to work. So again, that wasn't the plan. The plan was to retire this year. Now I have to work 10 more years. You know what I mean? So that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about being able to be totally free for the rest of your life. And totally free doesn't mean that you're not doing anything. It doesn't mean that you get up every day and just, staring at the wall because you have nothing to do. There's so much that we can do. There's so much that we can contribute towards, right? We can volunteer our time, right? We can join other causes. We can support other people, other companies, other entities, right? We can do all of that, Julie. There's so much, right? It just doesn't mean that, okay, I'm totally free now. Okay, what do I do now? Oh my gosh, I have all this time on my hand. You know what I mean? No, there's so much that we can do, because the ultimate goal is to help uplift humanity. And you can't do that by just sitting there, spaced out at the TV or something, or staring at a wall. No, you're going to be active within your community, right? You're going to be actively looking for ways and means to be able to support others, right? When we talk about Oh Bless, Julie, right? Okay, what are some of the things that we can do to help others, right? So you'll be busy with that. So there's lots to do, right? Maybe all of a sudden now you have all this time. Wow, I can actually go and support my children, them in whatever activities they're doing. Okay, there's a teacher parent meeting at school. My gosh, I can actually attend that now, right? And the list goes on and on and on, right? You can volunteer your time with different sports activities, different teams out there, different clubs, different associations. There's just so much that people can do, right? And then again, look around your community to see what is needed. Okay, well, how can I help? How can I assist? Right? What can I do to help my community be better than what it is today? You understand? How can we help the community move forward in a positive way? Right? There's just so much that can be done, and so much is needed around the world that there'll be no lack, Julie, of activities for people to do. So not at all. So we're not talking about creating a lazy mindset, right? That's not what we're talking about, right? We're talking about just having the opportunity or the options to be able to live life on your terms, right? On your terms. That's a huge difference. There's a difference between, okay, I have to get up at 6 in the morning. I have to get to work by 8 o'clock. I have to, I can't take a break until it's 12 o'clock for lunch. I can't leave work until it's 5 o'clock. You know what I mean? Like, you're not living life on your terms. You're living life based upon what your employer tells you, that, hey, you better make sure you're at work at this time. You better make sure you don't take lunch until this time. You better make sure you don't leave until this time. You better make sure you show up the next day. You know what I mean? And so on. That's not living on your terms, right? You have to live in a certain community, right? Or your home is located in a certain area based upon what you can afford. It's not what you want, but it's what you can afford, right? You can't shop at this grocery store because that's a more expensive store. You have to go to this one. Or you go inside a grocery store, you can only shop on the discount rack. That's not living life on your terms. You long for a vacation because you're so tired and you can't go because you don't have the finances to do it. That's not living life on your terms. Okay. You have a friend that's in need and you can't assist them. That's not living life on your terms, right? You have someone that you lost due to cancer, let's say, and you can't even support that cause because you don't have the finances to do so. Again, that's not living life on your terms, right? So that's what we're talking about, is being able to have the options where money is no longer an issue, where time is no longer an issue. You're not restricted by these things. So therefore, you can be the best version of yourself out there in your community. That's what we're talking about when we talk about total freedom. So it encompasses a lot more than just finances. It encompasses a lot more just on your time, as Julie mentioned, about health, right? How you socialize, who you socialize with. You know what I mean? Imagine having a friend. Imagine you live in the US and you have a friend that's over in Japan, let's say, and you're like, oh, you know what? Why don't we just meet somewhere in the middle and we're gonna have lunch, right? And being able to do that, right? Or even right there in your community where you're like, you know what, Julie, why don't you drive, 30 minutes down, I drive 30 minutes up, and we'll meet somewhere in the middle and we'll go have a nice dinner together. You know what I mean? Like, being able to do things, because you want to be around like-minded people, right? You understand? So you can do that when you're living life on your terms. You can determine and dictate who it is that you hang out with, who it is that you get on the phone and talk to. Not everybody that calls you, you're all excited about talking to them, right? Because, some people call you, all they want to do is complain in your ears. All they're going to come is to give you negativity and so on and so forth, right? You don't look forward to those phone calls. But then there's other people who call you and like, wow, okay, great. You're all excited because you know it's going to be a great conversation. It's like when we get together on Mondays, Julie, we're excited. We can't wait to get together because we know it's going to be a great conversation, regardless of what the topic is, right? So that's what I'm talking about, living life on your terms. right? That's what total freedom is all about, folks.
Absolutely, Michael. What you're saying right now is just being ourselves, be authentic, just being who we are, engage in activities and relationships that really genuinely resonate with our interests, our values. And if we can start by being authentic, being who we are, true self of who we are, we be able to do that. And like I said earlier, total freedom isn't just a one thing, a two thing, a 10 things. It's a process, and it's all surrounding us. Now, talking about total freedom, we got to also mentioning about our health. What is the point of having that financial freedom, have financial goal, or being free from all the restraint, but our health is terrible, right? So total freedom is a an all around, it's a complete circle, right? And then when we achieve certain area of the things in life that we want, do we want to just be there, be stagnant, or do we want to continue to grow and continue to actually learning and adapt more things? How about if we are taking more people into our circle, getting more people into that circle, helping other people to achieve that total freedom? I love the fact that our CEO, Mr. Ash Mufareh, had mentioned one time that, not one time, multiple times, that once we take care of ourselves, our family, are we going to help someone unstuck what their situation in and help them to fish instead of just give them a handout, or just one time thing, and so to me, Michael, being authentic, it's so important. Being authentic mean you be who you are. And we're talking about this in our session many times. Be the best version of who we are. And on passive, giving us that opportunity to do that, giving us the tool, the services to actually allow ourselves to be the best version of ourselves. And in order to achieve that, we have to stay engaged. We have to stay engaged in activities, in the things that is happening, in the discussions that's going on. And you've said so many things, and I'm sitting here smiling, and you have a phone coming. People know that you're live, but they want to talk to you. Michael, so yeah, to be honest, being total freedom has so many things involved in it. Not just, in 2024 years ago, I thought, oh, I just want financial freedom. But it's not it. Financial freedom doesn't fix it, doesn't take care of everything that's around ourselves as a human being. Your thought?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're absolutely right, Julie. You know, people just have to realize that we all got into Onpassive for a reason, right? We all joined for a reason. You know what I mean? But our conversation, um, isn't just about Onpassive. Like our conversation is about life, right? It really is. It's applicable to life, right? So if people, kind of put the two together, they'll get a lot more out of these conversations, Julie, right? Instead of people just always focus on one thing and one thing only, it's important to realize that Unpassive can help you in so many different ways. When we've talked about how Unpassive has helped people already, Julie, right? But for some folks, the only help they're looking for, well, I just need money, right? The reality is, if you get this money in your pocket and you're not prepared for it, right? It's not going to end well for you, unfortunately, right? So a lot of our conversations is about helping people uplift themselves to a higher standard, Julie. When you talk about being a position whereby you can help others, right? That's bringing yourself to another level, because a lot of people are selfish. Let's just call it for what it is, right? A lot of people may come into money, or find themselves in a better financial situation, and they don't think about anyone else but themselves, right? On passive has been helping us to understand that this is a movement. It's bigger than just you and me, right? It's about the community, as in the global community at large. right? And how can we help ourselves and our family? Absolutely. There's no doubt about that, right? But then extend beyond that, right? And I believe a lot of people have come on board with that understanding, Julie, meaning they may have come in looking just like tunnel vision, and it's just me, 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 me. I'm here. I want to be financially free, blah, 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 right? And then as they come in and as they're around us, and so we start to rub elbows together, shoulders together, right? All of a sudden now we start to feed off each other, and now we're thinking, yeah, absolutely, I'd love to be able to help this cause or that cause. I'd love to be able to help my neighbors. I'd love to be able to help, you understand, and the list goes on and on and on. So people start to look now with a wider lens and not just tunnel vision, right, whereby they only just focus on themselves, right? And so Onpassive has helped people become a better human being from that standpoint, right? And so imagine now you reach the point, because obviously we don't have total freedom right now, Julie, right? Onpassive has not given us total freedom right now. Okay. So obviously we're talking about the future. Obviously we talk about when we're in that position, because we will be in that position. Okay. It's not false hope or hype or any of that, right? It's just reality. It is factual. Okay. So when we're in that position now, what will we do, right? How will we be responsible, Julie? How will we commit, what I mean, and contribute to our communities around the world? Like, what will we actually do? It's important to understand this now, because trust me, when it actually happens, okay, your mindset is going to be different. But if I train myself to be thinking, right, we're creatures of habits, right? So if I train myself from now to be thinking a certain way, when the abundance comes, Julie, I will continue to think that way. It's not like, well, okay, yeah, me, 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 me. All of a sudden now I received abundance, and now I'm no longer thinking me, 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 me. I'm starting to think about everybody else now. It doesn't work that way, folks. Okay, it doesn't work that way, right? So you have to train yourself from now, train your thoughts from now. So when the abundance come in, it's just a natural outflow of you wanting to help others. It becomes natural. For some people, it is natural. For some people, that's how they're wired. They're built that way. But for others, it's something that you can learn, right? You can learn, right? We're never too old to learn, Julie. You could be 80 years old and, you can learn something new, right? And so that's what's been happening with us within Onpassive, right? It's preparing us for when the abundance comes, we'll know exactly what to do with it, right? And we will do the right things with it. And we'll be responsible with it, Julie. Not just squander it, not just, I want to go buy 10 cars. I'm going to go buy 4 homes. I'm going to, right? No, that's right. That's not what we're looking for. We're looking for individuals that understand the whole picture of what this is all about, the global movement of how we can actually and factually uplift humanity. That's important. That is at the core of Onpassive. It's at the core, right? And so we have to always remember that, Julie. So yes, we're talking about total freedom, but with total freedom comes responsibility, right? We have to be responsible with what we've been given. Absolutely.
Yeah. And Michael, and everyone probably already know, total freedom comes at a cost, right? Sometimes not necessarily cost out of our pocket or sweat and tears, but from other people. And especially in Unpassive, in order for us to have that, to achieve that total freedom, someone is working behind the scene, sweat and tear and financial, that for us. And so for us to achieve that total freedom, we really have to look back and say, how do I achieve this total freedom? Is it come at a cost of my pocket or other pocket? And so it is so important, like you said, think about planning ourselves, see ourselves where we are. How do I kind of like giving back to the people behind the scene that working day and night? I mean, have you ever imagined yourself walking the shoes that they walk every single day? I mean, I try to, and I don't think I could measure up to it or even could imagine it. And so, yeah, we need to recognize the fact that total freedom comes at a cost.
And we have to count the cost, Julie, right?
Yes.
We have to count the cost,
Yeah.
right? There are real people involved, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so we know that our CEO, for example, he's putting a lot of effort, a lot of energy, right? A lot into this business. He's taken on a big responsibility, right? That's not something that should be taken lightly, right? Again, it's a choice. It's his choice. He chose to do it, and he wouldn't have it any other way. He's not trying to, well, let me just take the burden and put it on your shoulder, right? He's holding on to that and dealing with it as best as possible to move forward, right? Because the do it or die attitude is not, that has not gone away. You know what I mean? He's highly motivated to do all of that every single day, Julie, right? And that's important. So we have to look and says, okay, well, what are we doing every day? You know what I mean? Do we have to put out fires? Do we have to look over this product scheme? Do we have to look at what's happening over here and what's happening over there? What's the latest update and all these things, right? What do we have to do where this business is concerned, right? All we have to do is be patient, Julie. I mean, it's as simple as that, right? So, I mean, what's our cost, right? When you look at other people's, the amount of time, hours, no, not 40 hours a week, a lot more than that, Julie, not 8 hours a day, a lot more than that, right? Weeks upon weeks, months upon months, years upon years, right? To get it to that finished product, get it to that finished place, right? It's a lot of cost, right? And I'm not just talking about monetary costs. There's that too, but there's a lot of cost that's involved with this, Julie. The stress that comes with this. You know what I mean? I have people that reach out to me and they're letting me know, how people they've invited into Onpassive, the stress that they're receiving from them. And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, I hear you, but that is nothing compared to, right? Compared to, right? So, this is where gratitude comes in, right? We certainly have to be grateful for all that has been done on our behalf. And it's unfortunate, Julie, but when people are really going to appreciate it is when they actually see money in their hands. You know what I mean? And so to me, you just kind of miss the whole thing because now it just becomes transactional, right? You miss the entire process. You know what I mean? You don't appreciate it as much, right? And that just tells me that is someone who's not going to do much when abundance comes their way. Because if all they see is just the transactional side of things and don't appreciate the process that we've gone through, don't appreciate the work that has been done over time to ensure your future is successful, all you see is something that is just transactional. If that's all you see, chances are you're not going to be that person that's going to reach out and help your community. You're not going to be that person that's going to reach out and help your neighbor. You're just not going to be. It is what it is, right? And again, we're not going to dictate to people that you have to do this or have to do that. Absolutely not. But wouldn't it be so nice, though, Julie, that we can help ourselves and our family and reach out and extend to others, right? Isn't that how we're really going to help the entire globe, right? And when I say entire, I don't mean every single person on the planet, okay? But certainly all the countries that make up this planet, there are people there that will benefit from the rewards from Onpassive. Absolutely, right? And so, yeah, we definitely have to count the cost, Julie. No doubt about that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's true. And remember, total freedom is a process. And so we have to continue working in ourselves to be able to achieve that, whether or not total freedom for each individual is one thing or the other: health, mental, emotional, financial, no matter what. So, if I may suggest a few things, you know. And every time when I'm suggesting something, it's a suggestions for myself as well. I have to continue to keep myself accountable to what I'm saying as well. So we kind of looking at, kind of assess our situation, our where we are in life today. Are we emotionally, socially prepared for this total freedom? Are we be able to break free away from that fear, that anxieties, and all of that? And what are our values? And I believe these are the things that we really need to write down in order for us to see the picture of where we are. And we really need to assess ourselves where we are. Are we ready? We are asking ourselves, oh, is our website back out? Is our ecosystem open up? For what? If we're not ready, what is it? When it happened, are we ready for it? Right? So that's something that I truly would like to suggest, all of us to kind of dive deeper into specific aspect of what is our total freedom, and are we ready for it? Will we be able to take the responsibility and be aware? Let's just say if you're achieving financial freedom by next year, 2 years from now, are we taking the responsibility to protect or to keep that total freedom to continue to grow or not? Right. And so it's really totally come down to total freedom. It's there, and I believe, wholeheartedly that we will be able to achieve it with the help of the tools, the services, and what Onpassive is providing. But are we ready for that total freedom? And what is that total freedom to us? And so these are the questions that I believe that we really need to look within to be able to answer that. Thoughts, Michael? Let's
I'm
wrap this up.
I'm ready. And I know a lot of our founders are ready, Julie, and they're prepared themselves,
Yeah.
and they're willing to take on the responsibility of what will be provided to them, to be wise, um, in how they conduct themselves and the things that they will go on to achieve as a result of benefiting from the generosity of Onpassive, right? So absolutely, we're good, right? It was a great discussion today. Absolutely, loved it.
Yes, me too. I love it. It stirred a lot of points. We hope you enjoyed it, and I believe every single one of you, us here watching this, have a story to tell. And there are so many people are telling their story out there. So if you choose to come on to heart conversation with myself, it's not a live, it's a recording. I'm here for you. And remember, everyone, we all are in this together. So if you have a moment in your life where you feel that you need to talk to someone, please reach out. We're all here. There's a huge community of people all around the world speaking so many languages, not each and individual of us, but if you need someone to speak Spanish, whatever, there's so many languages out here in our own community. Reach out and talk to someone, because I'm telling you, there's someone out there thinking about you, and in that moment when you call them, you think about them, they said, oh, I just thought about you. And so there's people out there that care for you, whether or not you are in Onpassive or you anywhere around the world and you've listened to this message. Everyone's here. We're all here for each other. And that's what makes this world so beautiful, Michael. Thank you, Michael. I'm excited about this topic. I have such a good time chatting with you. It's a great topic. You have a great day, everyone. Michael, enjoy your day as well.
You too, Julie. Bye, everyone.
Take care, everyone.